Welcome to Earthtide Studios. I'm Zach Knight, and in today's video we're looking at how to fix a drum recording using sample replacement. Sometimes you get a drum production that isn't sounding right and you need some help getting the mix sounding good. Well, this video is for you. We also have a free vocal production course that teaches you the basics of recording, editing, and mixing your vocals. If you want that, just click the link below. But for now, let's jump in the session. So what do you do when you've got a mix and the drummer wasn't able to play all of the kicks in all of the sections of the song? Hopefully, the producer arranged to actually record samples of the kit, and then you can actually pull off something that sounds like this.
I want you to take a look at me and tell me honestly what you see. Am I a fallen angel or a devil that's come to the surface?
I'm not sure if you noticed that there, but there's drum samples for the majority of the verse being played, except for this fill here. And I'll just jump over here into the chorus and we'll be able to hear just how it sounds with the real performance happening here. This is all just real kicks that have been played here. No samples. Let's just hear what that sounds like versus the verse.
Oh, I can feel it inside. This devil may cry.
Honestly, it's pretty hard to hear that those kicks weren't played during the verse. And I'm going to break down in this video just exactly how you can do that for your own sessions. So I've opened up a drum tracking session of the song just to show what I mean when I'm talking about sampling and how you can sample your kit to be able to save yourself if you need to as part of the drum mix. So we've got the raw drum tracks of the song here. Let's have a quick listen to what they sound like. You know, pretty good. Obviously, those are raw drum tracks and you've heard what the drum mix sounds like, so they came out quite well. But over here at the end of the song, we actually have samples that we've taken of the whole kit. And just to quickly explain this process, what I've done is I got the drummer in the studio before we started recording the song. So after we had the kit all tuned up and everything was sounding nice, it was all mic'd up, all the levels, we recorded a sample of every single part of the drum kit, just on the off chance that we decided that we needed to use that as part of the mix. And in this particular case, I definitely did. So it was super useful. So what you do is when you're doing this with the drummer, you basically get them to play each part of the kit basically anytime, anywhere between sort of 6 to 8 times for each articulation that you think you're going to need. When you're doing that as well, make sure that when you're not doing the snare, you have the snare turned off. But we can just have a quick listen here at the start and you can hear how the kick sample comes out. So this is playing all the microphones. And I'll now just show you what it sounds like just with the kick in and the kick out. So as you can see, we've got a very, very clear sample, and you can hear through the performance of the drums how similar the sample that was just taken there sounds versus the kick that's been played in the song. So that's going to make that very useful if you decide to use it in your drum mix. So now that we've heard how the drum samples are made, I'm going to jump into the production session and we can see how I use those drum samples to basically provide all of the kicks for the verses. This is the production session here. You can see that we've got the raw drums here, and I've also got this MIDI track here, and I've also got a trigger track here with Slate Trigger 2 running as well. I'll mute the MIDI track, and we'll just listen to see what it sounds like without those triggered kicks in there. So effectively, the drummer didn't play any of the kicks except for in these fills here. Now, I've got this drum MIDI here, which was provided by the artist when we were, doing the production. And I've removed everything except for the kicks. And I've actually got it being sent through to Trigger here. And inside Trigger, I've actually gone to the settings and I've set it up to have the MIDI in as C1. And in here, I've actually just put the samples, as we can see, in the triggering. And effectively, this is not for the mix, as in the final mix sound. This is just so that the final mix actually has something to trigger in it, because I don't want to actually have a MIDI track in my mix. I just wanted to have an audio track. You could put this MIDI track straight into the final mix, but I chose not to. Basically, what's happening is every single time one of these kicks in the MIDI track is hitting here, it's triggering a kick on the trigger track here, and that's being played to go along with the live drums. So if I say, for instance, muted this right here, it disappears. So it's basically triggering those kicks to be utilized there. So what I've done is I've basically taken these and put them in all of the verses where the kicks weren't played in the performance. And then I've just muted the rest of the drums here and bounced out this drum track with just those verse kicks as a mono track to be utilized in the mix. So we're going to jump into the mix session now, and we're actually going to have a look at how I've blended that with the real drum kit and basically made the drum mix come alive. So jumping back into the mix session now, I'm going to show you how I have blended those triggered samples with the natural kicks for the drums. So I have the kick in and kick out microphone here and the kick trigger track all running through to this kick bus here. And just on their own, they sound like this. Versus in the chorus. So what's going on here is obviously the majority of the actual mixing of the kick itself is happening on this bus here. But what I've actually got going on is I have trigger 2 running here on the kick trigger bus. And in here, what I've done is I've taken a sample of the kick in microphone and a sample of the kick out microphone. And I've got them running here at unison together. It's 100% mixed. And I'm basically just making sure that it is grabbing it on every single hit here in the verse. Let's go through to the verse. And as you notice there, the actual kick mics themselves were playing here for this fill here. And it sounds pretty much exactly the same. What I'm doing then is I'm running this all through to this bus here. I've got all of my processing going on. I still do have some gating going on here simply because I wanted to make sure that I was gating out a bunch of bleed during the chorus here. It's not that noticeable, but it is doing a decent amount of stuff, especially with all of the high end that's going on. And I also do have a kick room as well, which is running here as well. And that's being sent off from the kick bus. There's a whole bunch of other processing going through. I will run through some of the way that I actually do drum mixing in a different video. Basically, we've got that going through there, and the whole actual kick bus itself has a little bit of blending going on here with these kick samples happening as well. Just because I did want to make sure that there was a little bit of sample reinforcement besides just the natural kick for the entire song. Essentially what's going on here is we have the main kick in and kick out running for all the choruses and the bridge section. All of the verses are running a sample of exactly the same kick sample or kick sound that was done during the recording, and that's all running through to a bus here together as well. And all of the drums mixed together sound like this. So there you go. We managed to save that drum mix and actually make it sound really fantastic by recording samples at the start of the session. This is just one of many ways that you can help make your drum mix sound awesome, and I'd love to hear what you've been doing in your drum productions lately. Pop a comment below and let me know. Don't forget, if you want to level up your vocals, we've got that free vocal production course. But for now, take it easy.
Burn it down and bring the reaper. I'll carve a world to bring you back.